Hello, today we are solving Jan 2023 Unit 2, question number 2, the statement of changes in the equity of Asiatic Investments PLC for the year ended 31st December 2022 is being prepared. Now, required is complete the statement of changes in the equity in the question paper to show the figures for the following information for the year ended 31st December 2022. Now you should insert a suitable heading for the columns A and B as applicable. Okay, so if you see here for A and B, we have to insert the name of that column as and when it is applicable. Okay, now let's look at the information given, and we have to fill in for each information what is the transaction that has happened. Okay, and then reflect that changes to the statement of equity. Okay, now the first one is enter the opening balances at 1st Jan 2022 and the total equity figure. So we can see that £1 ordinary shares, okay, worth 600 million is written here. So let's write here 600, and we can see here for the statement of changes to the equity, okay, we need to enter the figures in millions, so you will just enter 600 here. Okay, you will not enter the total million figures because this is expressed in millions. It is 600 million, you will write here. That's the ordinary share capital worth, okay, amount they have. And then it says share premium is 180 million pounds. So let's write in the share premium. Okay, you will have to write all the balances just like that for the first statement given. Then retained earnings is 160 million. Okay, credit balance. So here you will write then general reserves, okay, 4 million. So general reserves, it's a 4 million. So for the retained earnings, if it was a debit balance, you will have to enter it as negative, but here they have given it as a credit balance, it's a profit. Okay, so you will have to enter as a positive value 116, okay, retained earnings from the profit. Then general reserves 4 million. Then foreign exchange reserves. So foreign exchange reserves is 3 million. Okay, so these are the balances you will write, and then you will have to enter the total equity value here. So let's total up 600 plus, okay, you enter this and total up and write on this column. So 600 plus 180 plus 116 plus 4 plus 3, that is equal to 903 million pounds. Now for the second transaction on 16th Jan 2022, a transfer of 2 million was made from the retained earnings to the foreign exchange reserves to cover movements in currencies. So let's write for this. Okay, so it was moved from the retained earnings. So you will subtract whatever was the amount in the retained earnings, you will subtract the 2 million. Okay, 2 million, and then you are going to transfer it to the foreign exchange reserve. So you are going to write it in the foreign exchange reserve here, 2 million. Okay, it was just transferred, and this one you have to cover for the movement of currencies. Okay, if the company is trading in the international market. On 4th February 2022, a final dividend for 2021 of 2.3 pence, okay, per share was paid to the shareholders. So now let's calculate 2.3, okay, or 0.23 times the value or the number of shares will give the value of the dividend issued. So here we can do the working. So the dividend issued amount issued amount is going to be equal to, okay, what is the formula here? That is 2.3 pence per share, okay, that is the rate they have given, okay, that is the rate per share divided by total number of shares, okay, this is the formula. Now we know what is the total number of shares here. The total number of shares is given as 1 pound 600 million ordinary shares. If the worth, okay, it is at the rate of, so the worth is 600 million, 1 million or 1 pound ordinary shares. So the number of ordinary shares, okay, number of ordinary shares times the 1 million pound, okay, or the rate per share is equal to the ordinary share capital value, okay. Now let's fill in here. We know that we have to calculate the number of ordinary shares, so that is going to be equal to, we know the rate per share, the rate per share is 1 pound, so you write it as 1 pound, that is equal to, the value is, they have given 600 million, so 600 million, so the number of ordinary shares is going to be equal to 600 million ordinary shares, okay. Now we know the number of shares. Now let's calculate the dividend, okay, that was issued. So he said that the dividend amount that was issued is going to be equal to 0.023 pounds per share, okay, into 600. That is going to be equal to 13.8 million. Okay, the value is going to be in pounds. Okay, we can either write the symbol 13.8 million pounds, okay, or we can write like this. So this was a dividend amount issued. So the dividend amount was issued. He says that this was issued to all the shareholders. So we will have to deduct it from the retained earnings. Okay, so we are going to issue the final dividend, okay, from the retained earnings. So let's write it here. So 13.8 million was issued from the retained earnings. Okay, and we have to write here any total. So here we can see it was just a transfer, so there is no change, and here 13.8 has become less, okay, in the total column. Now the fourth transaction on 12th March 2022, property that had been bought 2 years ago for 64 million was revalued to its market value. This new value was a 15% increase on the purchase price. Okay, 15% increase on the purchase price. So let's write it here. So property value, new property value increase, only the increase we have to calculate, okay, not the new value. So the property value increase, okay, what was the property value increase, that only you have to calculate. So that is equal to 15% of, the property was 64 million, okay, the property was 64 million. So 15% of 64 million, that is equal to 9.6 million, okay, pounds. So this is a revaluation of the property. Okay, so now where will you create here? They have given an empty column. So for the first one we will create revaluation reserve. Okay, this increase in the property, okay, this increase in the property is regarded as the revaluation reserve. You can go and check out the videos for learning the type of reserves, okay, which are created. So it has been given in the description below. So the revaluation reserve was created, and this increase has to be indicated somewhere in the statement of changes to equity, and it is indicated in the revaluation reserve. Okay,